And here is next. I think I've seen this somewhere before. Hey guys, welcome back to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and today I'll be going over the Hasbro Transformers Generation Line Leader Class Jetfire. Seeing that this guy was coming out a little whiles back, and it got me pretty hyped for this character. Really loved Jetfire from the original G1 show. I always thought he was an interesting character with how he used to be a Decepticon, but eventually ends up on the Autobot side after his little bit falling out with Starscream and not really wanting to hurt any of the other Transformers, and him being more of a pacifist kind of character. Just always thought he was kind of neat when I was a kid, and just a little bit deeper than what you've seen in most TV shows that were designed to sell toys. And also, he was the third Transformer I ever owned from the Generations line, then also the second one that I ever had that was 100% complete. Even though he actually had to go out and find all the rest of his parts, but it was just, I really loved the hunt for that character, and once I got them all together and everything, he looked awesome. He always misses his decals. And I'll compare him to this guy in a little bit. And also, he's my wife's favorite character next to the Dinobot, so definitely had to get this guy, so we've got to get him out of this packaging just so I can get her off my back. So for the packaging, really love the way that the front displays, where you get a nice image of the character inside the box with the clear plastic here, and he just has a pretty nice pose to him, so if you want to keep him in the packaging, it doesn't look too bad. Really love the art over here for Jetfire. Also, it kind of comes over across on the side here. But also, I like that for the front, it more conveys the image of him, how he looked in his G1 toy. Kind of has that nice Robotech kind of look for him. Just really like the image of that here. And also, he's actually a advanced transformation, level 3, so that's actually something you don't see every day with these guys. Especially since he's also a leader class, so it's also something he's got really going for him. And also on the side, 21 out of 30. Really sweet. For the back of the packaging, you get a nice image of him in robot form and in his alt mode. He's got turbo thrusters and removable battle helmet. Also has arm-mounted cannons. And then if you guys want to read his bio real quick, I'll let you. Alright, we good? Alright. Awesome. If you guys want to see, there's the stats. Then, for this side of the packaging, not too much going on here. Just Jetfire Leader Class. Tell you Series 1 of number 1. For the bottom, just tells you about the Voyager Class Roadbuster that's already out. I haven't actually been able to find one. When I do, I'll hopefully get a review out for you guys. But still on the hunt for you there, buddy. And for the top of the packaging, just Transformer Generation line, nothing too fancy. So that's enough about that. Let's get him open up out of his cardboard prison. So now that we have Jetfire out of his cardboard prison, first we'll go over his accessories, which it comes with this photon cannon, which overall has a lot of very nice details on it. Looks pretty cool for a cannon. Really do enjoy the overall design of the weapon. My only major complaint is, as you can see, it has this chrome plastic on it, which overall doesn't look that bad. Actually, well, I think it's more like chrome paint or something. There's and there you see one of my little minor complaints about this is the missile shoots very easily, and it's built off the spring system, so when you push down on this, it just fires. And it's one of the reasons why I really love the friction system that they've been doing, because as a collector, I don't have to really worry about the missile randomly shooting across the room and having to go and find it, which is somewhere down the floor at the moment. Alright, found it. So, once you get it in there, it takes a little bit of finessing because I'm already trying to put it in, it's already popping back out. So, it's pretty much you gotta find like the little sweet spot and start messing with the trigger here. Hopefully, there you go. Hear a little clicking. Now it's staying in pretty well, and then we just push on the back and shoots really good at least. But at least it's just something probably on mine, but it's just something to be a little wary of any of the spring-loaded stuff where if you just kind of have it sitting on yourself, I would recommend trying to aim the gun downward or something just so you're not really losing the missile. But we're just going to set it off the side here. The only thing that kind of sucks about the chrome paint on here is that it's already on mine. I just got this thing out of the packaging. I've already noticed some problems with it. Is right here around the handle. You already see there's a giant chunk of it missing right here. It's really ugly looking, but it's not something you're really going to see because he's mainly going to be holding it like that. So it's not something you're going to really be noticing. And then also right up here, there's already some bits missing. And then just to show you a little bit more. For his legs, he has some cannons on here, which kind of cover up the running gear that's sitting on there. And right here too, as you see, there's a lot of imperfections in the chrome, which is kind of ugly looking. like overall, like it's got a lot of very nice details, and it looks really good when you're looking at this thing from afar. But when you start getting the stuff closer, like even popping this thing off real quick, which is his arm-mounted cannon, which overall this one actually doesn't look too bad. Just a little bit of blemish there, but I think that's pretty much where it just snaps off the assembly line. There's one right here too. And overall, it's just like something, when you're looking at it closely, it looks not very appealing. But from a distance, it makes the figure definitely more eye-catching, and I can see why they would be wanting to do this, because mainly they're trying to market this thing to kids, so kids would be looking and be like, look at all the shines! I mean, I need this. But as a collector, it's not something that's really necessary, and kind of takes away from the overall appeal, especially with a lot of the ugliness in it. But that's pretty much my only major complaint with this entire figure, because this guy overall looks amazing. Bring him in for a little bit just so you guys see a little bit of a closer look at him. As far as head sculpt, looks really nice. I really love the face mask on here. It gives him that really awesome Robotech vibe, which, if you guys didn't know, the original G1 was pretty much a ripoff of one of the Robotech action figures, I do believe. And this face mask to me is just a nice homage to that. And I just love the way it looks. Like the visor looks really nice with the clear blue plastic here, and has nice silver paint for the faceplate. And personally, like, even I love the black ears on here. Like, that just looks sweet. And then if you guys don't actually like it with the faceplate off, you can just expand it a little bit to pop it off. And there he is in his G1 glory. Really love the way the face turned out, where he has this nice grimace to it. Really love the silver paint and the blue for the eyes. Looks really good. And just bringing the light a little bit so you guys can see the light piping going on here with those eyes. Look really sweet. And also with the mask on, just to show you the light piping on here as well. Also comes through pretty nicely. The only thing that's kind of a little wonky is when you start having to look up, it's just that's a huge gap there, but it's something like, it's not that big of a deal for me. Like, it just kind of, it's a little odd. But mostly he's going to be looking kind of straight and down anyways at everybody, because he's just standing heads above most other people, so it's not something that's a big deal for me. And also, we're just going to put this thing back on, because I love this faceplate. I think it gives him a nice badass look to him. And then for the rest of his body, really love the chest on here too. Like how they got the Autobot symbol in the cockpit with all the circuitry going on around it. Looks very nice. And overall too, like, he has a lot of very nice details over on his body. The only thing that I can see some people starting to complain about is he's got some gapping here in the plastic. Like here on the back of the legs. It's mainly a part because of the transformation, but there's a little bit missing here. And then the biggest problem is on his arm. If you don't want to have the weapons on his arms, there's some gapping here in the plastic here, which is kind of a little bit of an ugly look for him. So if you're going to have a display, I kind of recommend keeping the gun on. Just helps to not show that problem. And it's not even underneath on the here, except for on his bicep, there's some plastic missing under here. So he's not fully... So he's not the most solid Transformer, because he's not, even for being a leader class, he's not really all that heavy personally. Like, he feels good, and he doesn't feel like he's actually going to break or anything, which is nice. He's still sturdy. It's just the little bit of the gapping here or there, it just kind of takes away from it a little bit for me. Especially here on the arms, like, it kind of hurts the overall display factor if you wanted him to not have all the chrome bits on him. So that's a little bit of a notch for him in terms of the bummer department. And then for his backpack, looks actually really sweet. It's probably the only part that I actually really don't mind the chrome plastic on, because it just kind of gives him a really nice look to it. Just kind of gives him a little bit more of a menacing look. Just helps to expand the size and gives you actually a reason for the Transformer to have the backpack on his back. Because usually there's just, that's where a lot of the extra kibble just kind of sits on the back here. But for him, it actually has a nice usage of that extra space back here. So I really love the way that turned out. The thrusters look sweet. Overall, it gives him that nice armor look like how he had in the G1, and I'll compare that figure to this in a minute. And just to show you guys how he looks without all the chrome plastic on it, he still actually looks pretty good. It's just the gapping in the plastic here is just a little bit more noticeable. But overall, his backpack, it doesn't detract without having the rocket pads on. Like, it still doesn't really bother me all that much. Just kind of wish that maybe this collapsed a little bit more. But overall, it's not too bad. So overall, he has a nice action figure look to him. It isn't too bad for what I've seen a lot of the other leader class, especially since most of the other ones that we've been getting lately, the AOE ones have also been having this chrome plastic. So it's not too bad. And for his articulation, he can go up, down, left, right. Shoulders can move in and out, forward and back. Nice ratchet joint. Especially here down at the elbow. He has a really stiff joint here. Also has a rotation here at the bicep, which is cool. Nothing going on here at the hand. And for his legs, he can go forward, back, in and out. Nice bend at the knee. Also has a rotation here at the upper part of the leg. And for the feet, they can move up and down. So overall, I really love the details on him. His articulation is very nice, and I love all the ratchet joints on here because it just helps for him to keep posing without worrying about him just randomly losing his footing and just kind of like collapsing on you. The only thing that kind of sucks about him a little bit is with the little bit of empty plastic here on the bicep and on the arms. And the chrome plastic's a little bit of a deterrent for me, but let's get him in the vehicle form and see how that turned out. And just to show you guys some options that you can do with the extra chrome weapons, here's what they show you in the instructions for the ginormous photon cannon. And just to show you guys, after doing that little setup with that, you can already see some of the chrome is already flaking off here around the sides. So that's actually a lot of a bummer. And here's another option for all his chrome weapons, which I don't think looks that bad. In the instructions it shows to put these on the wings here, but that looks kind of silly in my opinion. Also, it shows that you can also store the mask on the gun if you don't really want to keep it on his head. But I'm not as big of a fan of this because to get this onto here, there's a little part right here on the gun that helps to separate the plastic here a little bit. So what ends up happening is the mask starts to separate a little bit as it's coming down. So what happens is this could distress over time and might eventually cause breakage using that part. And also, it's just doesn't really look all that sweet. But it's nice that they give us the option, but I'm just not a big fan of that, especially that this could just randomly go popping off at some time too, because you can't really get it down too far without really worrying about breaking something. So it's a nice attempt, but it's not something I really recommend. And for some quick comparison, here's Jetfire compared next to Generations Hoist and Warpath. And here he is compared next to some of my Seekers with Generations Thundercracker and Fall of Cybertron Starscream. And here he is compared next to his G1 counterpart, which I think this is a really nice scale for these two guys. Just love how they're overall the same size of figure, and it's just really nice seeing them standing next to each other. And here he is in alt mode, which looks amazing. Really love the way that this jet form turned out, and just to show us some of the closer details real quick. Really love the way the cockpit turned out. And also you can lift this up just to get a better look on the inside of it. And if you ever can get a hold of some small figures to fit in there, look really good on the inside of it. Also for the nose, really like the Autobot symbol on here and how this is made out of a softer rubber, just in case your jet randomly nose plants, you won't have to really worry about it snapping. You can see here he has his machine guns on the sides. Looks really good with the silver paint on it. Also comes with landing gear, which is really sweet because I can come in and out, just personal preference how you're going to be storing them on your shelf if you keep them in this form. But it's nice to have it out in case you need some emergency landings, which is really cool. Also on the bottom, you can see where his chest is, and there's his head just kind of chilling under there. Which one thing I kind of wish they would have done is some way to have the head kind of sticking out a bit to replicate the turret head that he had from the G1 toy. That would have been really sweet. And then you can see here's his Autobot symbol for his chest piece, which looks a little odd because the way this is kind of set up kind of reminds me of a cockpit. While also up here you have the normal cockpit, so it just looks a little bit odd to me. I don't really hate it all that much because it's not something you're really going to be noticing because a lot of time you're going to be seeing the figure from the top portion of it. But it's just something that's there to point out. Really like the way the thrusters look on the top here. Look really good. Still wish they weren't chrome plastic, but I'll just live with it for now. It looks really nice. Has a lot of good details. Like coming around the back so you guys can see all the thrusters. just in case, just when a jet needed to be faster, let's just add more thrust to the package. Looks really cool though. I really like the variety that they have going on here with all the thrusters too. Yeah, there's not a whole lot else going on here. Just for some of the articulation, the wings can move in and out. The tail fins can move up and down. Gives you a little bit of posability with that. And here you can see the legs kind of hanging out the side, just like how it was in the G1 toy. So that's nice that the figure replicates that in some fashion, even though it's a newer mold. It kind of harkens back to that a little bit. Still kind of wish that this could do the Robotech transformation, but I completely understand why it doesn't. Copyrights. And this on the bottom, so you can see a little bit more of how the cannons kind of sit underneath, which is overall pretty sweet. I really kind of like the futuristic look that it has with all the laser cannon sitting underneath. What's also neat too is that none of this interferes with the landing gear on the back. So just to get this one out for a second. It still rolls really nice with those even on. So that's really cool that they actually thought that out very well, and then there's a good amount of engineering underneath it, even though it's very simplistic with how the transformation is. So even though it says it's level 3, it's not really that hard to get him into this form. As you can see here is where his arms are hanging out, and there's his legs. And just to show you guys real quick just how this looks without all the chrome bits on it. This part pops right off. And you can see if you want to get it back on, there's the clips right there. You just line these up with that and you just stick it right back on. It's pretty simple stuff. And then underneath, you just gotta take the stuff and just wiggle it off a bit to pop it off. Comes off pretty quickly. And then here he is with none of the extra rubbish on him. Let me get this off to the side for a sec. And here he is with all his extra accessories off, and he looks really good without them on as well, so this is also a very nice option to display him on your shelf. And what's cool is this actually has a really nice seeker body to it. And I know they're going to be coming out with a Thundercracker version of this mold, and I'm actually really excited to get that figure as well, because it just would look so good in the vehicle form like this. So it gave me a reason to pick it up, because I'm probably going to be keeping this guy in robot form. So it would look really good standing next to it just to have something in the jet form. So overall, I'm really happy with the way this turned out in his alt mode. His robot form turned out really great, and just overall, I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. And for some quick comparison, here's Jetfire in alt mode compared next to Warpath and Hoist. And here he is compared next to Fall Cybertron, Starscream, and Thundercracker, which just makes me really excited to see this mold turned into him. And here he is with his G1 counterpart. So overall, Jetfire here, I don't think he turned out that bad. Granted, the chrome plastic for his accessories is a little bit of a turnoff, especially with it already having problems coming out of the packaging, and wanting to do the combining accessory already damages the chrome on the plastic. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And I would like to see a little bit less hollowness in the figures, especially when they decide to do any more leader class figures, because with some of the gapping in the arms and the legs, I could see it being a little bit of a deterrent, especially since these toys are generally meant to be geared more towards adult collectors. I would just like to see a little bit more of the collector quality in the figures. But that being said, I still really like the way that he turned out. I think the mold looks really good, and he has a really nice range of articulation, and the jet form looks awesome, by the way. And I also really love how they have the accessories for the faceplate, so that you can have either the more Robotech looking G1 toy, or the way he looked on the TV show. And I think he's a really nice option, especially if you really love the G1 show, Jetfire, or the Generations line. I think this guy is a really solid buy. So what do you guys think? You guys like Jetfire? Do you guys love the bling, or do you hate the Decepticon trader? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have closer pictures on Facebook if you want to click the link description below. Please don't be afraid to share this video around, and if you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.